Have you ever thought about a year that could literally split your life in two? A clear before and after? Well, according to a really intense forecast, 2026 is going to be that year. So today, we're diving into the karmic lessons she says are coming for every single sign. You're going to want to stick around for this one because it sounds like a massive turning point for everyone. Yeah, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? The forecast makes it super clear that 2026 isn't just about some minor changes. We're talking about huge foundational shifts and some pretty tough lessons that will literally draw a line in the sand of your life. It's the kind of thing where you'll look back and think, yep, that was my life before 2026, and this is my life after. So, what's behind all this? Well, the forecast really boils it down to three main ideas. First up, get ready for some harsh lessons. They won't be easy, but they're absolutely necessary for your growth. Second, it's time to do some deep, deep work with your subconscious. All that stuff you've pushed down, it's coming up. And third, and this is a big one, this is a year of resistance. The forecast is really emphatic about this. You can't just go with the flow. That's a big no-no. All right, here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll kick things off with the fire signs and their lessons from the past. Then we'll dig into the earth signs and their tests of purity. After that, we'll see what the air signs are learning about boundaries and freedom. And then we'll dive into the water signs' big cleanse. And stick with us because at the end, we'll reveal the one major lesson that's for absolutely everyone. Okay, let's jump right in with our fiery friends, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For you guys, 2026 is all about one thing: confronting your past head on. This is a year that's really going to demand some courage from you. You'll need to make some big, decisive, and probably difficult changes based on everything you've been through. For all my Aries folks, the end of the year is shaping up to be a real moment of truth. The forecast says it's time to finally cut those last few karmic ties. The people, the situations that are just dragging you down. And listen, this isn't about a gentle let's go our separate ways. The key word here is destroy. You need to actively dismantle whatever's blocking your path. It's all about making a clean, total break. All right, Leos, listen up because this is fascinating. Your big lesson is basically the exact opposite of what you're used to. It's about letting go of control. It's about surrender. You're going to find that things are just not in your hands. The forecast says you'll literally be carried by the flow of fate. Your only job is to trust it. And part of that means burying, in a metaphorical sense, of course, those old projects and goals that just don't fit the new you. Sagittarius, get ready because 2026 is a huge evolutionary leap for you. Your karmic homework: let go of the old to make room for the new. Now, this might mean going through a period that feels, kind of empty, a bit of a void, but that's a totally necessary part of the process. And while you're going through all this, there's a really important skill you need to practice: discretion. Learn to keep your cards close to your chest. Okay, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about our earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. For you three, the lessons in 2026 are all about what's going on inside. We're talking about the purity of your thoughts, your inner strength, and how you deal with all the pressure coming from the outside. Taurus, heads up, this one is huge for you. The universe in 2026 is going to be like a mirror for your thoughts. Your desires are going to manifest fast, which means the risk of accidentally creating your own problems is super high. You've got to be so careful with your inner monologue. The forecast also gives a warning about betrayal and says that some events at the end of the year could become a heavy burden, a real cross for you to bear. Virgos, get ready for a blast from the past because it is coming for you. Karmic challenges are going to pop back up, and don't be surprised if people you haven't seen in ages suddenly reappear. But here's the thing, the real challenge isn't them, it's you. Your real job is to look inward and finally start taking apart those mental blocks and fears that you've built up yourself. Capricorns, you might feel like other people are just constantly getting in your way, blocking your progress. But the forecast says fighting them head-on is not the answer. The real work is internal. You've got to turn inward. The only way to get past these roadblocks is to finally, once and for all, conquer your own deep-seated fears and insecurities. All right, let's switch gears and talk about our air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For you all, the big karmic theme for 2026 is all about personal space. It's a year for setting some seriously firm boundaries, getting crystal clear on your relationships, and learning how to avoid drama that you just don't need. Gemini, it is time for a major decluttering of your life. Your main task is to say goodbye to anything and everything that's just unnecessary, superficial, or empty. We're talking people,
habits, the whole 9 yards. It's about finally stepping into the spotlight and letting yourself be seen, but at the same time, you've got to build some rock-solid boundaries to protect your energy.
Libras, this is a really, really important warning for you. As you get towards the end of the year, you have to be extremely careful about the new people you let in. The forecast points to a major risk of bringing a stranger into your life who is basically a karmic landmine, someone who's just there to cause trouble. And a little side note, maybe dial back the emotional expression just a tad. It'll help. Aquarius, brace yourselves for a provocative year. It's going to feel like people and situations are constantly trying to bait you, to pull you into the wrong fight. Your karmic mission, should you choose to accept it, is to not take the bait. This means finally putting an end to those relationships that have dragged on way too long. You know the ones, and clearing out anyone who's just pulling you down into the muck. And last but not least, let's dive into the deep end with our water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. For you, the year is all about powerful emotional currents. Think of it like a major social cleanse, a series of emotional tests, and a masterclass in keeping your cool when things get turbulent. Cancers, right around the middle of the year, you're in for a massive social shakeup, a real general cleanup of your friends and acquaintances. You're going to find yourself playing the role of judge, watching as people show you who they really are. And through all that, the most important thing is to be completely transparent about your own intentions. Scorpios, I need your full attention for this one, especially for the start of the year. You know that intense, butterflies in your stomach feeling you might get with someone? The forecast is crystal clear. That is not love. It's a karmic test, plain and simple, designed to knock you off your game. Your job is to keep your inner harmony, be polite, and do not let that inner beast out to play, no matter how much you want to. And Pisces, for you, the entire year of 2026 is basically going to feel like one big final exam. Life is going to throw some really tough lessons your way, and you'll probably have to deal with a lot of envy from people around you. So the one skill you absolutely have to master this year, assertiveness. You've got to learn how to put people in their place, firmly but calmly without losing your own composure. So there you have it. We've gone through all 12 signs, and each one has some pretty intense and unique homework to do. But here's the thing, Lilia and Noor's forecast also has one huge overarching message that applies to every single one of us, no matter what your sign is. And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway of all. And this is it. This is the main event for everyone in 2026. This is a year that demands that you show up and participate. You can't be passive. If you just try to float along and see what happens, well, the forecast warns that the chaotic energy of the year will just swallow you up and drain you completely. You have to be the one steering the ship, no question. So as we wrap this up, there's really one big question to think about. When you look at all these challenges, but also all the incredible potential for growth, it's worth asking yourself, which one of these karmic lessons are you ready to take on and master in 2026?